Mr. Eric Legrugeois, Director of Grand Port Maritime de La Réunion, Mr. Rory Dole, Managing Director of Transport Events Management and Dedicated Staff, the moderator, Mr. Dinesh Sharma, distinguished panelists. A very good morning to you all, dear valued delegates. Once again, it is with immense pleasure that as President of the Ports Association of the Indian Ocean Islands, PAIOI, to speak at this prominent conference leading by Transport Events Management under the aegis of Grand Port Maritime de La Réunion. At this very outset of my intervention, I would fail in my duty if I did not convey my warmest congratulations to the organizers for this so important event, which is occurring at a very critical moment in the maritime history. As we, the heads and main stakeholders of the port sector, are called upon at this present juncture to take in a timely manner appropriate, bold, pragmatical, and strategical decisions in face of the adverse impacts of the current pandemic, climate change, and new world geopolitical outlook on the supply chain industry. These adverse impacts are becoming more worsened with the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine, and they are among the principal world manufacturers of essential goods for the world market. These significant disruptions have certainly a serious bearing on the global trade traffic, given that our maritime zone is far from its main import and export markets, is so poorly connected to global shipping networks, so it is very dependent on imports for basic commodities, such as nutrition and energy. And it has a narrow economic base. Those constraints imply higher transportation costs, longer lead times, and additional capital requirements, while high maritime transport costs and poor liner connectivity are prohibitive to a more significant participation of our ports in global value chains and hereafter to expand global trade. It is without saying that a constant increase in trade volume is a decisive factor for the development of competitive maritime transport services in the region. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the crossroad of our destiny. Time is of essence. We have to be far-sighted. We have to raise to the expectations of today's challenges. So, this webinar is a seizable opportunity for all of us to share, to learn, to understand, and to resolve on these major issues for the benefit of our respective economies. As a regional association founded in 2008, the Ports Association of the Indian Ocean Islands, PAIOI, today, the members of the association are the Mauritius Ports Authority, la Société du Port à Gestion Autonome de Toamasina à Madagascar, Port Réunion, the Seychelles Port Authority, the Port of Longoni, Mayotte, the Republic Establishment of the Autonomous Port of Mutsamudu, Comoros, and the Port of Eola, Malagasy Republic. PAIOI are the maritime executive arm of IOC, Indian Ocean Commission, is very conscious of its attributable role, are shown through a non-ambiguous approach, its commitments to find out long-term solutions on certain of the so-known pressing challenges facing Indian Ocean maritime zone. In the very recent years, PAIY, with the financial support of the European Union, has taken inter alia a handful of landmark initiatives gearing towards the promotion of sustainable development of cruise activities, reducing fossil energy consumption and associated greenhouse gas, GHG emissions, green port projects, upgrading human capital through reskilling training programs, and empowering women in the maritime community through the setting up of a dedicated feminine platform within PAIOI, and the creation of a port and logistics atlas CFACIL for the small island states in the Indian Ocean zone. The Green Port Initiative demonstrates our capacity to involve whole development sectors in contributing to a regional framework for a resilient development, and particularly to continue to develop innovative proposals to make low carbon development a reality. An amount of USD 50,000 has been earmarked by Indian Ocean Commission under the AIODS project funded by the World Bank for the recruitment of an expert to prepare the shore power project technical document. Once the project document is finalized, the IOC will assist in and mobilization of funding for project implementation. In addition to that, we are also collaborating with IOC in a determinate manner in its endeavors to come up with concrete solutions as regards to issues pertaining to maritime security and safety and maritime connectivity. Ladies and gentlemen, these mentioned projects at regional level will certainly add value in boosting up our capabilities to make the maritime zone more attractive and leverage to tap a greater volume of maritime traffic in a sustainable manner in Indian Ocean zone, where the trade potentials are so enormous. The members of PAIY are so confident that regional cooperation remains the backbone to address these issues of common interest. The interlinked challenges of maritime security and the development of ocean economy require solutions for the region with solid international support. Under the EU-funded MAISE program, MASE program, the Indian Ocean Commission is leading a new initiative with the unwavering support of its legitimate regional partners to develop a maritime security architecture based on two regional agreements in line with the relevant international conventions. This is a testimony that cooperation and coordination is the safest and most effective way to improve maritime control and surveillance. It allows littoral states to play a prominent role in shaping the future of the Western Indian Ocean. Economic value of ocean-related activities was 5 years ago 20.8 billion USD. A maritime security architecture has been mounted by regional states, managed by regional states, which is now serving the whole region and beyond. Taking into account the observations made by UNCTAD, United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, on its Maritime Transport Report 2021, that is, the broad-based global recovery will depend on smart, resilient, and sustainable maritime transport. IOC, faithful to its role as Commission with support of its legitimate partners, namely PAIOI and PAMESA, a study on the implementation of a maritime single window, which is considered as a vital instrument to leverage the capacity of the shipping industry in Southwest Indian Ocean region, SWIO, in its quest to bounce back from the COVID-19 pandemic. Given the growing strategic importance of Southwest of Indian Ocean region, which is at the intersection of the Asia, Africa, and Europe, wherein global trade is depending to interconnect to the world market, we have the entire interest to take advantage of this situation to boost up maritime traffic. It is an undisputable fact that the promising recovery is being threatened by the supply chain breaks and logistical bottlenecks that are disrupting shipping markets and pushing cost level to unparalleled heights. We are highly poised that the introduction of invention adaptable and tailor-made single maritime window within the ports in the IO zone, Indian Ocean zone, with an extension to the non-IOC members, namely Mozambique, Tanzania, Kenya, and South Africa, will be instrumental in the growth of our trade performance. At the same time, this will facilitate economic integration within a larger maritime region. So, the establishment of a strong cooperation between IOC and non-IOC states in the SWIO region is a determinant factor to improve the entire region's maritime connectivity, focusing on reducing procedural response times, harmonization of ports and customs data, harmonization of formats, documents, and import and export processes, enhancing transparency on taxation, creating an e-custom declaration system. This multilateral cooperation is fundamental to achieve sustainable development and traffic performance. The linkage of non-IOC members is through the East Africa Community, the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, COMESA, and the Southern African Development Community, SADC. As we all know, the port sector has a special significance in Africa, since more than 80% of the continent's trade passes through ports. The modernization of port infrastructure assets is a fundamental component of Africa's transformation and competitiveness, industrialization, and economic integration. If Africa wants to draw attention to its vast resources, including its mining and agricultural products, and be able to export them, then it will need a fast-tracking transformation of its ports. If Africa wants to become integrated into global value chains and industrialize, it will also need suitable port infrastructure. By transcending countries' boundaries, both the SADC and the PAMESA need to work synergistically to boost trade, industry, and investment opportunities by pulling together all the ports within the SADC to a single large regional market of 190 million people span over 16 member states, with a combined gross domestic product of over 720 billion USD. The Eastern and Southern Africa region is an emerging market which can attract substantial domestic, regional, and foreign investment. Globalization presents both opportunities and challenges for developing our ports, especially as we brace ourselves with the internalization of production, distribution networks, and mega revolution in information technology. Human resources are at the center of the development of our ports. The SADC and the PAMESA can help our ports to build capacity in managing the regional integration process and the change brought about the mounting pressure of globalization. For the region to be part of the process, the port sector has to be led by men and women of high calibers with the right business culture to pursue the shared vision of turning the Eastern and Southern Africa region into a competitive and fast-growing economic center in this part of the developing world. The future is very challenging. And the PAMESA has indeed a key role to play to re-engineer itself into an ideal platform for the development of ports to adapt to the new normal and meet the needs of our ports for velocity, predictability, and reliability. Here are some focal points, ladies and gentlemen, which in my humble opinion can help to sustain maritime traffic post-COVID-19. 1. The commissioning of a comprehensive port master plan in the 5 regions of the African continent. 2nd, the creation of a full-fledged maritime and port academy in each of the regional blocks. 3rd, the creation of a proper investment common mechanism, or SPVs, for funding of ambitious port development projects. 4th, the creation of a common digital platform to accelerate and revamp online trade activities among the port stakeholders and the port and maritime industry. 5th, the establishment of a robust plan of actions to support adaptation and mitigation programs to face the growing threats of climate change. 6th, the creation of an African Maritime Shipping Services Company as a supplementary support to boost up intra-trade relationship among member states of the SADC, COMESA, and of regional blocks. 7, to the formulation of a common policy on how to contain the effects of any pandemic or epidemic on port trade traffic. 8, the creation of a cruise development strategy for Africa. The encouragement of bilateral and trilateral relationship or strategic alliances with UAE port authorities. For instance, we have a lot to learn from the big experience of Dubai and Abu Dhabi ports authorities. Ladies and gentlemen, before handing, I would like to comment the initiative of Groupe Maritime de la Réunion to empower and to encourage women to be in the forefront of international forum to voice on matters of great importance. For today's conference, we have 3 young and dynamic ladies to intervene on this topical subject. Congratulations. Now I wish to this conference fruitful deliberations. Thank you for your kind attention.